taken beautifully.
Tino's wonderful. He's coming.
Florence using possession of their memory.
And
Finished a beautiful offload.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 24th annual St. John's Easter Rugby Festival, where we see a host of youth, talent and passion all meeting together on the rugby field here. Today we've got Windhoek Gym against Graeme College. It's bound to be an absolute cracker. With me in the comm box, I've got Sfiso. Sfiso, how are you doing today?
All is good. I'm just looking forward to some interesting rugby here. And of course, we do have Windhoek in possession of the ball. Just right in their 22-meter area.
Yes, so
like a clearance kick, but it's not quite clear, as of course there has been a knock, and the ball does go to Graeme College. Of course, Graeme College many are from the Eastern Cape, and of course we've got our own visitors from all the way in Botswana, Windhoek.
yeah, so you know, definitely it's a fantastic festival. This we see teams from all around the world. We saw the combined teams from New South Wales today, which was all the way from Australia. So a really fantastic festival to be at, and a fantastic way to get some good rugby under the belt, isn't it?
Yes, no, definitely. And of course now we're about to see a scrum just outside the Windhoek 22-meter area, with of course Graeme College getting the puts in. But it seems that there has been a little bit of an issue there with the scrum. It looks like it will be a reset of that scrum.
Well, if you just joined us, you'll see Windhoek going from left to right of your screen in the red, and of course Graeme College in the navy blue and yellow strip going from right to left. As we see a free kick there awarded to Graeme College. Graeme College will look to attack nice and early, trying to play it through the hands. Unfortunately, a bit of a handling error, which gives Windhoek a little bit of a breath here, just outside their 22-meter.
And of course it's a pick up and go from the Windhoek boys, as they look to gain a few meters just to try and fight their way out of their own half, and perhaps to try and look to play the game in the Graeme College half.
As we see Windhoek trying to get themselves out, a little bit of trouble there. 20-meter kick from Windhoek gets them just inside their half. Graeme College at the moment doing all the application of pressure here, aren't they?
And yes, of course that is that line out from Graeme College. They've managed to scramble it and win it though, just inside the Windhoek half, and it's played really quickly. Oh, it's a beautiful run, but it does look like the pass has gone forward and the scrum has been awarded to Windhoek. A lifeline there, Manny, for the boys from Botswana.
Yeah, really unfortunate here. We see Graeme College looking to play quite an attacking form of the game, trying to get it through the hands and trying to pierce Windhoek. We've seen Windhoek being put under pressure. They would rather play in Graeme College's half, but Graeme College just not giving them that opportunity to play in their half, playing some really good running rugby, which is what I think both of us and everyone around the ground here want to see, isn't it?
Yes, of course. That's the entertainment we come here for, and of course the spectators pay a lot of money to come see such stuff. But of course, not too much pressure on the schoolboys, because of course they are just representing their school and playing with great passion.
As we see a scrum here in the Graeme College half, what can Windhoek do as they look to swing it down the line? They get it all the way out to their number 15 here, which is Mel Tennyson. Mel Tennyson still going. Mel Tennyson goes all the way. Fantastic run there from the number 15. Graeme College had all the possession, all the pressure, and Windhoek just managing to get outside their half with some, what I would call, simple rugby there, Sfiso.
And of course, they will question the way they defended there, of course. And just before you mentioned that try, in fact, you were speaking about running rugby, and that was a great example of that. Some great punishing running from the Windhoek backs, which eventually saw a bit of an overlap there on the outside, which allowed Mel Tennyson to finish off very well and give his side the 5-point lead.
Yeah, fantastic run there from Mel Tennyson. You know, really good to see, as we said, some running rugby here. Windhoek not looking to kick that situation, not looking for any skip passes, keeping it nice and simple, finding the overlap on the left-hand side, and the speedster, the fullback, Mel Tennyson, converts the try.
And of course, it is Cornets Liebenberg looking to add the extra 2. It's looking good. And it is good. It's a brilliant conversion by that man, that fly half Cornez Liebenberg, who has added the extra 2 for the men from Windhoek, who are now see themselves 7-0 up just in the beginning of the game, and it's just inside 5 minutes. Interesting game so far. Been a bit scrappy, perhaps from both sides at the start, but as the game goes on, maybe both teams get their rhythm going. Manny?
Yeah, as we see the kick-off there from some, you know, Grey College won't understand how they've managed to concede that try. You know, they've had all of the ball. As we see another turnover here from Windhoek. Windhoek managing to get the ball, getting some nice quick ball at the base of the ruck there.
So there's another attack from Windhoek. Some powerful running and incredible by Ethan Rittman Gaia.
Yeah,
manage.
Absolutely massive hit there. Windhoek just showing their size against the boys from the Eastern Cape here. And Windhoek looking to go nice and short, keeping the ball nice and close at ruck time and gaining ground with every single movement they get.
Of course, it is another run from the backline, and it is that try scorer who is eventually tackled. But the referee does eventually award a penalty for the men from Windhoek, who will now look to advance further up the field and perhaps set up a neat line out closer to the Graeme College try line.
Yeah, well, it's pretty obvious to see as we see Liebenberg, he's going to look to gain as much ground as possible. Does he manage to get touch? And he does a really good kick. You know, it's been really good to see the connections between Liebenberg and Tennyson here. They look to be the pinnacle structures as we see there, as we see Liebenberg just directing traffic for his team and making sure that the backline knows exactly where to be and what to do at any given time.
And it is, of course, that line out now just outside the Graeme College 22-meter area, but it is a bit of a scramble. It does look as if Windhoek have knocked it on, and it is a scrum for the Graeme College boys. They do get an opportunity now to really exit out of their own half with perhaps a solid scrum, Manny, that could see them free up the ball for the back line. Of course, for perhaps another run up into the Windhoek defense, or maybe a little chip over into the corners.
Yeah, well, it will be interesting. We haven't seen Graeme College under this much pressure yet at set piece time. You know, we saw them defending the line out pretty well. We'll see them defending the scrum. It will be interesting to see what Lakanya Sam decides to do here and what his backline decides to do. Do they run it up, or do they try to chip it over the defensive line? Run it up it is from the number 12 there, Theo Shelley.
And of course they do back that running rugby. Of course it is quite a brand up in the Eastern Cape for the sides to really run the ball and really play with their backline, who are usually quite agile and pretty quick, especially around the outside.
Yeah, well, in the Eastern Cape, I think they believe if they're not running, it's not rugby, you know, and it's really good to see. Unfortunately, getting them in a bit of trouble as we see turnover ball here from Windhoek as they look to bash it up nice and close to ruck time, making it easy for their forwards. Liebenberg gets it out to that man, Tennyson. Really good link-ups between the two players at the moment as we see Cody Schmidt with a nice little pick-up and drive.
Now you can definitely see it's stuff that is coming straight from the training ground. Of course, Windhoek always opting to really play that short man right close up to that ruck before feeding it out to the backs. And of course it is now on the outside with Jean-Pierre Steyn, who's eventually tackled just over the 22-meter area. And it does look like it is a backline ball, but it is quickly fed into the forwards once more to just really push it up and really get the Graeme College forwards sucked in, and eventually to create more space, perhaps on the outside. And it does look as if it's been a turnover, an intercept rather, but the ref does call back an advantage for Windhoek, who perhaps now could look to maybe add the points on the board by just kicking for poles, considering the time.
Yeah, will be interesting to see what the decision making is here. We nearly see Declan Delamera, you know, getting an intercept try. Unfortunately, not so adjudicated by the referee, but it should be interesting to see what decision Windhoek make here. At the moment, Liebenberg has been very conservative in his approach, trying to play in the Graeme College half. Not really taking too many risks, which has worked out for them as we see the score at 7-0. And polls it is, Liebenberg will back himself about 21 meters in front of the posts.
It's especially considering that conversion attempt earlier on after the Windhoek men did score that try with Tennyson crossing over earlier on in the match. it did seem that it wasn't really such a difficult, it was a tough one rather, right on the outside for Liebenberg, but now this one is a lot easier, right in front of the post.
Yeah, it is much easier, you know, never say die, but we saw him striking a nice one out from the left-hand side, very close to the touchline, as Liebenberg will be looking to slot this straight down the middle to make it 10-0.
And it is another beautiful one by Liebenberg, who does add the extra 3 just inside the Graeme College half. Graeme College 22-meter area rather, and it does make the score 10-0 now to Windhoek, as Graeme College do look to find a way back perhaps, and maybe we'll look now to maybe conserve the ball, keep the ball more, maybe base it with their forwards rather than the backs, who have seemed to make a bit of mistakes.
Yeah, I think, you know, with this 10-point advantage at the moment, and Graeme College really looking a little bit scrappy, as we see Lakaya Sam kicking it into just in between the 22 and the 10-meter. We see Graeme we see Windhoek on the ball, trying to get a better angle for Liebenberg here. Liebenberg from his 22, a nice little up and under all the way to the winger. The Graeme College winger also looks to run it up, also with a fantastic run. He gets back into the Windhoek half. What are Graeme College going to do with the ball here? Can they get conservative ball and get it all the way to the try line, as we see the number 4, Michael Tenisma.
And it's still within the forwards, and it does look like it's gone to the backs. It's looking really tough there for Graeme College at the moment, who are really struggling to really break that defensive line of Windhoek.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, and you know, we mentioned at the beginning, you know, if in the Eastern Cape, if it's not running, you know, it's probably not rugby. At the moment, I think Windhoek's defence is good enough to stop those runs. You know, I think Graeme College have been a little bit predictable at the moment, and they may have to change their game up a little bit to getting the ball a little bit higher up the Windhoek half. As we have seen, they've been threatening, as we see some offloading the ball out to Plang.
And there's, of course, a little box kick going around to the outside, and it does look brilliant.
Wow.
And of course, Yanga Basinga does collect at the end, and he finishes off very well in the corner to really break the deficit to just 5 points after dotting down right there in the corner, awaiting, of course, the conversion. The score is now at the moment Windhoek Gym 10, and of course Graeme College 5, with the conversion to come.
Well, you know, I spoke about literally 20 seconds ago, Graeme College maybe having to think about a different approach, maybe getting a little bit, kicking it a little bit higher than the Windhoek defence. You know, fantastic space there spotted by the number 21, the scrummy Cody Schmidt, just to see that there's no left wing in position and there's plenty of space, giving Yanga Basinga a really easy, well-constructed, I might add, try, as Lakanya Sam looks to make it a 3-point deficit here at St. John's College.
Unfortunately, Sam's attempt at really converting that try just went just wide, and the score does remain 10-5 to the men from Botswana, as they lead just before they take the kickoff. We're just 13 minutes into the game, so still a lot of rugby to play, especially in this first half, Manny.
No, definitely, and we've seen no real air of dominance at the moment. We've seen Windhoek retaining the ball really nicely. We've seen Graeme College trying to run the ball at speed and at depth, as we see a nice high-hanging ball, unfortunately not collected by Graeme College, Matthew Kirk, and now Windhoek will be looking to punish Graeme College for their mistake.
It does look like they are setting up again with the forwards, and it's quickly played throughout, and it is played to JP Viljoen, who is eventually tackled, and it's Vian Lobster who plays it quickly out to that man James Heyman. And it is Windhoek still in control of the ball. Duduzi Piri is eventually tackled, and of course it's a great pickup from JP Viljoen, who has a little stride, but he's eventually tackled just short of the 22-meter area of Graeme College. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a shit by Sammy Poulton there, who does drop the ball, but it does go backwards. The men in red do look good at the moment, currently keeping the ball in hand. And it's just speaking of the ball in hand, it has just been spilled, but it did go backwards. Matty Windhoek are looking very patient to try really break down this Graeme College line, who have done well so far when you're looking at the past perhaps 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, really patient, and as we say that, just a little error between the try scorer and the talisman, but we see Lakanya Sam unfortunately not quite getting to the ball. All that patience, and that one little mistake pushes Windhoek a good 20 meters back. They'll look to secure safety as Liebenberg looks to find a bit of grass, which he does, but the counter-attack is on here. The counter-attack, as we see Graeme College playing their running rugby on the left-hand side, a little chip and chase, but unfortunately is not to be there, but they do gain the penalty for tackling off the ball. That's the kind of game Graeme College play, a good brand of running rugby. They attack nice and hard, and unfortunately Windhoek's patience game not quite working there. Just an error off them there.
Yes, perhaps I do see Graeme College being quite strong there on the outside, on the wingers. Perhaps they should look to perhaps kick for corners a lot more. Get the wingers running up the line quicker, because you do see sometimes the boys from Windhoek getting sucked in. And of course it is a quick tap played by Sam, who does play to Tian. It's quickly played out again. Sam is just tackled just over the line. It is currently Graeme College who get over the line. What a brilliant try from close range. Really, really hard fought try there, Manny. Well deserved though in the end, after really some good pressure from Graeme College, showing the patience of all in their defense, while Windhoek did have possession of the ball.
Yeah, as we see the try scorer there, Mokele, you know, the big unit goes over the try line, but it all started with Sam conducting play there, trying to play the quick ball, and the quick ball really working. That's the kind of rugby they've been playing all day. As we see the replay there, Sam running it nice and close, just getting under the try line there, but unfortunately not darting it down. And we see the big unit there, Mokele, managing to get over past the Windhoek tight line defense.
And of course, Lukalu Sam there did manage to eventually convert that try. So now Graeme College see themselves 12-10 up against a Windhoek gym. Just under 17 minutes has gone on the clock, and it still is the first half.
Yeah, well, you spoke earlier about the Graeme College wingers, as we see a fantastic take there from Nogaya. You know, fantastic. It's interesting to see what Sam does here. We see really his first open play kick of the day to get Windhoek back into their 22. Will be interesting to see how Windhoek deal with this with the numbers game here. And we're going to see a bit of running rugby here. I think it's that man Tennyson. He really does look threatening every time he's got ball in hand.
And of course, it is Windhoek who keep possession as they try to fight their way out of their own 22. And they have opted to run it out rather than really booting it out. And it's the forwards who seem to be taking it up. And it is that man Tutuzi Piri who takes it up just outside their own 22-meter area, before it is again played a bit wider with the strong carry there. It's another ball played a bit short, and of course it is Michael Tunsma. It's eventually played out to the backs, but unfortunately there is a bit of a fumble there, and Tunnison does eventually collect for Windhoek, really saving there with the error, because we do see the wingers of Graeme College that we did speak about really being alert and really looking to capitalize on Windhoek's mistakes.
Yeah, I think that's where Graeme College is. We see a penalty inside the 22 for collapsing over the ruck there. I do think their strong points are in their number 11 Kaso and their number 14 Bangisa, and if they can look to get the ball as wide and as quickly as possible, you know, I think that's where they're going to be scoring a lot of their tries. If they can stretch Windhoek, stretch the ball away from that very strong forward pack that Windhoek does have, I think that's where they're going to look to dominate this game really.
And of course Graeme College were awarded a penalty there, but they did opt to really go for the line and get themselves up close and personal with the Windhoek try line. Of course it is a line out now with Graeme College in with the throw. And of course it is that man's Fundo Dube who does feed it in. And it is a bit of a scrappy one, but It does fall on the Graeme College side with Lucayo. I'm quickly feeding it to Tuso Mukele, who's eventually tackled inside the Windhoek 22-meter area. Graeme College do still have the ball. And it is that man, Buhlebetu Planga, who does take it up very well, but it is eventually tackled. And a ruck has formed. And it's a short pickup as Graeme College look to edge closer to that try line. And of course, it's a brilliant take by Kumali Chuni, who's also very tackled short. And of course, look how Sam picks up again, and he's bundled back. And it's a great competition there at ruck time as well, with of course Graeme College still in the attack. That man Kumali Chuni still handling things with, of course, Yangabangisa picking up but losing the ball, with Windhoek getting another escape plan, really looking to run the ball out. This is fantastic to watch as they surge up the field, and it is a brilliant pass played straight through to Tunison, who plays it wide to Opperman, who looks to finish very well in the corner. What a great try. Incredible build-up straight out of their own try line to really finish off well on the right-hand corner here on Burgerfield at St. John's College. Another fantastic try, really created straight out of their own half. A brilliant one, Manny.
Yeah, well, you know, some really crucial passes. We first saw that man, Sammy Paulson, starting it from their own try line, finding the space. The offload went out to Tennyson. Mel Tennyson has seemed absolutely threatening every single time he's got the ball. We have a look at the replay and just look at that inside pop. Fantastic decision making there from Liebenberg. Tennyson, every time he gets the ball, he cuts in, brings the defender infield, and we see the offload out to the winger there. And you know, it's just absolutely fantastic. Look at this run from Opperman. Coast to coast try is what we want to see every day of the week when you're watching a rugby game. Fantastically orchestrated try, that is.
Brilliant. As we now await a conversion by Liebenberg. Unfortunately, he skewed that wide, and the score does remain 15-12 after that brilliant try by Opperman just a few moments ago. Windhoek now do find themselves in the lead once more, leading Graeme College of the Eastern Cape 15 points to 12. And of course, looking at the time, Manny, it's still around about a few more minutes, maybe perhaps a try or two still to come. This game is looking nice and tight. An incredible one for especially a neutral.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you, this game resembles the Manchester City-Tottenham game yesterday. You know, it's absolutely bouncing from one side of the field to the other side of the field. We're seeing good kicks in behind the defence. We're seeing a lot of running rugby from both teams as we see Lokaya Sam with a nice high ball. Well collected there from the number one, Mukele. Fantastic work from the forwards. And that's exactly what we've been seeing all day. No team has been dominating, and we've seen some coast-to-coast rugby from both sides here.
And it is, of course, Graeme College who do on the attack once more. And it does look like they are a bit outnumbered at the ruck, but Graeme College do manage to really get the ball back. And it is Sam who picks up perhaps a poor pass, but it is quickly stolen by Windhoek, who now get the opportunity to fire straight up. And it's a brilliant bulldozer run by Mduduzi Piri there. But the ball is unfortunately taken over once more by Graeme College. It is Cullen Williams who does opt for the box kick, but it has eventually rolled out into touch. It is a Windhoek puts into the line out just inside their own 22-meter area. Another opportunity to perhaps escape that danger of that really passionate Graeme College backline, Manny.
Yeah, we see Sean van Wyk here, unfortunately not retaining possession, and we'll see a nice little counter-attack here from Graeme College. This is what they do best, go forward off turnovers and off their own ball, as we see quality ball out there from Cody Schmidt. Lukanya Sam with a little step, he steps right there and left. Great tackle there from Windhoek. Graeme College managing to get in the 22. What can they do? They got options to the right, options to the left. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
It is, of course, close now. They are definitely in danger territory. Oh, and it is a big tackle there.
Oh, I'll tell
by
you.
Herschel van Wyk, who has really put a big hit. on that Graeme College man. Was a really, really big tackle.
And
But it did perhaps seem a bit high, Manny. I would have thought it looked a bit high. It did hit him just above the shoulder.
Yeah, look, from what I see, I think, you know, a shoulder going into the midriff area and maybe a clash of heads here as we see high tackle looking for the ball and all. You know, it's really unfortunate to see a tackle of that caliber, and I do hope Matthew Kirk gets up and he can play in the rest of today and, you know, indeed the rest of the festival. But, you know, some hard-hitting rugby. These schoolboys are going toe-to-toe. You'd swear it's a test match for them, and for them they treat it at the same level as a test match. So some nice intensity, and we hope to see Matthew Kirk. We see him walking, he's up, and I think he'll compete in the rest of this half.
Yeah, brilliant for that man to get back up straight after that hit. And perhaps now it's his own opportunity to dish out another big hit, perhaps.
Look, I'll tell you what Windhoek have done there. Matthew Kirk will think twice about the next run he makes. You know, it's a big hit there from Windhoek, deemed legal by the referee. So you'll just have Matthew Kirk thinking once or twice about the next time he carries at him.
And it is, of course, a scrum now right on the Windhoek 22-meter area, with Windhoek looking for the put-in. Vian Lobsa does feed the ball in, and it's a big scrum from the men all the way from Botswana. And there's a great exit from Liebenberg, who plays it to Lenana Tlaso, who does eventually struggle to the floor, and the ruck is formed. And there's a short, quick pickup. Graeme College in possession of the ball at the moment. They're keeping it right close up to the ruck, and it has been stolen. JP Fillion rather, with the pickup, playing it quickly there. Mduduzi Piri of Windhoek Gym. Vian Lobsa plays it out quickly to Liebenberg. Eventually plays it out wide to Tudison. And it does look like it's a really tough battle here so far, with Windhoek still remaining in possession of that ball. Unfortunately, that ball does look like it has been knocked by Windhoek, but Graeme College do have the possession right now through Tuso Mukela. The ruck has formed just inside the Windhoek half. Ball's quickly played out to Klaso, who eventually plays it out to Makelima. Unfortunately, that move doesn't work too well for Graeme College, with the ball eventually being bundled out to touch. And that does signal half-time here at Burgerfield at St. John's College. Of course, the score does see Windhoek go into the break, leading Graeme College 15 points to 12. Man, it has been a very intense half of rugby, a very interesting one, especially one that we love from Schoolboys.
No, it has been very intense, and I can tell you it's not going to get any softer from this point. You know, the two teams only 3 points apart at this stage. The coaches will be having some stern words. One of these teams needs to try and pull away from each other. But we'll see you all in the second half for some more running rugby. It's been a fantastic game so far.
There are easy and simple ways to pay for refreshments during the day with a cashless card. Tap to pay with your Standard Bank credit or debit contactless card. It provides you with a convenient alternative way to pay without having to carry cash. Its contactless technology means you'll simply tap your card and be on your way. Download SnapScan on your phone and tap without leaving your wallet. Use your robot SnapScan app on the ground to help you download and sync your card. Any credit or debit card can be used over and over. Download SnapScan. You can pay at any of the bank.
Evolve with the next generation Galaxy on SA's best mobile network. Get the new Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus for only $899 per month on a 24-month MTN Made For Me S contract. You get 20 gigs free data plus 2 gigs every month for 12 months. We got you. Sign up or upgrade at an MTN store today. Everywhere you go, MTN.
I'm Kagiso Rabada. This is the Standard Bank Forex Speed Track Challenge.
Standard Bank has asked the Proteas to help them demonstrate the incredible speed of the Shift Forex trading app.
Our customers are shopping on their phones, they're booking their travel on their phones. It made absolute sense to bring foreign exchange to their phones.
Kagiso will step onto the pressure sensor at the crease. This will trigger the trade of the Standard Bank Shift app. May the fastest win. confirmed. The Standard Bank Shift app lets you trade at speeds equal to that of South Africa's fastest bowlers. Because Standard Bank knows when it comes to Forex, time isn't money, speed is. Download Shift from the App Store and start trading right now.
Why choose supersonic fiber? Life is complicated, but getting fiber shouldn't be. Supersonic fiber is the simplest connection you will ever make. Signing up is easy. Our 5-step application process is not only free, but will also give you the exact speed required to ensure your family can browse, stream, game, and work with ease. Essentially, it's Internet U.0, designed around you and aimed at making your fiber experience hassle-free. Our on-site stream team will install your free Wi-Fi enabled router and connect all your devices to ensure that you are 100% up and running. They will also conduct a free Wi-Fi coverage assessment before leaving your home to ensure that your home has 100% coverage. The Supersonic app provides you with full control so that you can manage your account and create a package that suits you, giving you the freedom and control to upgrade or downgrade as and when you want. Our smart Wi-Fi app, powered by Plume, offers you 100% control of your Wi-Fi ecosystem. Kids spending too much time online? Limit their access. Granny needs to get on Facebook? Give her instant access. We give you total control of your entire home from anywhere and at any time of the day in the palm of your hand. All with no contracts, no nonsense, just internet. Go ahead, sign up today. It's the simplest, smartest connection you will ever make. Visit supersonic.co.za.
Well, a beautiful afternoon here at St. John's College as we see Windhoek going head-to-head with Graeme College. Windhoek 15 points at the moment, Graeme College 12 points. You know, so it's been an absolutely fantastic game so far, and I don't think we're going to see any less from the second half. If anything, we're going to see a lot more intensity as these two sides look to pull away from each other now.
No, definitely, Manny. That half was an exceptional one. And of course, we do have Liebenberg getting things back underway. And it's a great collect from Graeme College there, who collect well to look now to exit straight out of their half. And it's Sam, who does manage to boot it just over the 50-meter line. And it's collected once more by Windhoek Gym, who are suddenly on the surge again, coming up the field. It does look interesting now with the short pickup run. And it does look like it is a break from Enselin, who is a hard man to tackle. He's managed to make his way right into the Graeme College 22-meter area, and it is that big man, Herschel van Wyk, who does eventually crash over for a try. A brilliant move there, brilliant start from Windhoek, who really pulled on their lead. Another incredible run from the men from Botswana.
Yeah, I'll tell you, a change in tactic here from Graeme College. Graeme College looking to secure a safe ball, kick it into the Windhoek half, but Windhoek really making them pay there. We see Jaco Enslin with a big dashing run here, just bouncing one or two players out the way, and Windhoek managing to get over the white line. Fantastic start from Windhoek. This is exactly what they'll need. But, you know, in the first half, they managed to go 10 points up and just let that lead slide a little bit. So it will be interesting to see what approach they take now in the second half to make sure they don't lose this 8-point lead as it stands.
And of course, Liebenberg does step up to take the conversion now, as he gazes up at the sticks and looks to add the extra 2. And it does look good. He sent it straight through the sticks. And the score now does see Windhoek 22 points to 12 up against Graeme College. An interesting run up there to that try. Windhoek Gym really using their big boys in that one. Really using the strength, the power in the legs, as we saw there from that man Van Wyk, who eventually bundled over to give his side the 5 points.
Yeah, fantastic work there from Herschel van Wyk as we see Lakanya Sam. Fantastic take. Oh, look at the offload there. Can they keep going? The big men here from Windhoek really do look threatening on attack as we see quality ball out there to that man Sammy Paulsen. Paulsen to Leeuwenburg. Leeuwenburg to Tennyson. Tennyson all the way out to Bueks. Can Bueks make it all the way there without being touched? Fantastic cross-cover tackle there from Graeme College as we see a little knock forward there from Windhoek. But Windhoek look like they've come out to play in the second half, haven't they, Spies?
Yes, no, indeed. Maybe it's a tactic from the coach, because we do see the forwards really stepping up their game quite a bit here, really using that strength, really to at least shove off at least one defender and make their way forward and really gain those meters that are really, really crucial for the men from Botswana.
Well, you can engage with us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and of course Twitter with the tag School Sports Live or the hashtag SSL Rugby. Would be interesting to see who around the world is following and what you've got to say, as we see some really good schoolboy rugby, one side here from Namibia and the other side all the way from the Eastern Cape. If it's not running, it's not rugby from those parts of the world. As we see a scrum here on the 5-meter line from the knock-on. It'll be interesting to see how Graeme College look to approach this. They started the half by trying to kick for a little bit of territory. Windhoek really did manage to punish them with their big heavies running right inside through their backs. So it'll be interesting to see what the combination of Cody Schmidt and of course Lakanya Sam decide to do here.
And it is a Graeme College puts into the scrum. They have upheld the pressure very well. But Windhoek have managed to really make the crucial tackles. And this Sam eventually clears and finds touch just outside their 22-meter area. You know, many have only just realized now that I've just been making the error of saying that Windhoek are all the way from Botswana instead of saying Namibia, in fact.
Look, it's close enough. They're both on the African continent, so we'll let you slide with that one.
I know my geography teacher wouldn't be too happy with that.
Yeah, I hope they're listening and they really need to reanalyze their map work. But we see the side from Namibia or Botswana, whichever way you want to call it. They're from Africa. We see number 2, JP Viljoen on the ball now. Fantastic work in little offload. Look at that. That's a training ground move there as we see the big heavies looking to run through Graeme College.
Displayed out. Liebenberg. Oh, it's a big tackle there by Thuso Mokele. Windhoek still in possession.
Wow.
But it is Windhoek who still have the possession of the ball and they're opting to really look out wide. But Graeme College at the moment are managing to hold on and keep the big boys of Windhoek at bay. And it is played out wide.
Lovely to see them creating numbers. Leeuwenburg must have touched the ball about 1,000 times here. We see the try scoring machine. Tennyson looks to go through, but a fantastic cover tackle. You know, fantastic work from Tennyson. Every time he's looked to make a forward break, we see Leeuwenburg gets it out into the midfield. Advantage, looks like an offside advantage from the referee here. Leeuwenburg on the ball again, making good decision. He's seeing big heavies offloading onto the wing, and a fantastic try from Yaku Ensslin, who's looked really threatening on the go forward. Some fantastic work here from Windhoek College, who are really turning it up in the second half.
And once more, Manny, you do see the forwards really taking it up and really taking responsibility in this half. It's been an incredible half for them. They've been working really hard. Perhaps, do we not ask Graeme College the question of perhaps is it their fitness? Because it is quite early in the season as well. The boys have just come out to start their rugby seasons, and the festival does sometimes serve as a bit of a trial session for the coaches to really see who their real 15 is for the upcoming season.
Yeah, 100%, and I think you make a good point there. I think, you know, fitness maybe coupled with the altitude here in Johannesburg, maybe getting to the semi-coastal side just a little bit. You know, Windhoek are at a much higher altitude, so Joburg may be similar dry conditions to what they're used to, as opposed to as opposed to the lower conditions that are Grahamstown. As we see Leeuwenburg just skewing it off to the left. His kicking seems to have taken a toll, but this guy has probably covered 6 or 7 kilometers in the first half, so I do feel for the guy having to kick straight after. What can Graeme College do at this point? They've looked to adopt a little bit more of a different game. Kicking for touch, kicking for territory hasn't seemed to work. Do they go back to the running rugby that they played in the first half? What are your thoughts, Fis?
I feel perhaps they do need to really fall to their stronger points, and maybe with a little bit more patience as well, and not rush things, because we saw them in the first half. Really, they were lagging behind a bit, but they found a way to actually gain the lead. But it was through being patient and really applying what they've gone through throughout their high school, really their traditional way of playing the rugby game.
Yeah, and Windhoek, absolutely running right here. We see the number 19 from Windhoek, Zeeman. They are looking to carry, making sure that Graeme College have to make tackle after tackle after tackle, and that's probably contributing to why they're so tired. As I see Leeuwenburg with a diving catch. Fantastic work from this man. He really has been a standout player for me, Fis.
Yes, no, of course he has. He does control play very well and is always able to distribute to his forwards, or even sometimes when it's necessary, straight out to his backs, who are always ready as well to receive and really take that ball up. And then, of course, there, Herschel van Wyk with another big hit. And, of course, he is a big boy. We do see he's definitely a hard man to take down, but it is Graeme College who have got the ball. They did clear, and Steenison, who did receive once more, and receive Windhoek once more with the ball in possession, really edging their way forward. They'll be slow. Perhaps Windhoek are showing a little more patience at this moment in time as they play to their structures. You can see this is simply not something they just came up with today. Of course, it's something that they've really gone through throughout practice. And it's Van Wyk once more, who does take it up, but is eventually tackled. And the ball is eventually played wide to Liebenberg, who feeds it in close to Mduduzi Piri. But Graeme College are safe there. They are eventually awarded a penalty. Of course, one of the Windhoek men were holding onto the ball there at ruck time. And now it is an opportunity for Lukanya Sam to really find touch in a good area and see if the men from the Eastern Cape can find the way. But unfortunately, his kick still manages to stay in field as Windhoek take it straight up. And it's that man, Tunison, who's eventually tackled just short of the 50-meter line. The ball's played back, and it's a big tackle by that man, Tuso Mukela, who pushes the Windhoek boys right back. And it does look like it is still being played within Windhoek. And the ball's just over that 50-meter line as the Windhoek men do look to edge closer and closer to that 22-meter area of Graeme College. But it is Graeme College who get the ball, and it's almost an offload there by Shele. It's another pickup from Graeme College. Man, you can see the boys from Graeme College looking to tire a bit, as they look a bit sluggish when the ball is being thrown around. Not much support from their forwards, perhaps. And we do know in rugby games, forwards are usually the foundation of the team. That's where the play starts. That's how it determines what type of ball the backline do eventually get.
Yeah, 100%. They always say forwards win you games, as we see a whole array of forwards being substituted on here from Graeme College. I think Sviso, the coach, has the same sentiments as you at the moment. There seems to be a little bit of confusion, however, as the linesman looks to intervene. But four different forward changes being made here. Hopefully we'll see a revived Graeme College side. But really, forwards are the foundation of your rugby game. They secure your ball, they win your ball, they gain your ground. The backs are simply finishers. They are the sparkling players of sorts. As we see number 6, number 17, number 16, and one other sub from Graeme College looking to make their way on in a few seconds. The linesman will be giving comms as to when they can roll on, as we see touch missed again. You know, it's really interesting. Some lack of basics as we see an offload. Unfortunately, number 15, Tennyson, goes for the diving header. No goal, though.
The brilliant one there from Tennyson. As Graeme College regained possession. And they look to really fire back up. Through Planga there. Who is eventually tackled just over in that Windhoek half. And is yet another box kick there played by Cullen Williams, who's looking for the corners once more. And it's a close call there for the referee, but it does look like it's been taken back by Windhoek, and it is a scrum for Graeme College. A great advantage here, good area for maybe perhaps an 8th man pickup. What would you do as one of those forwards or the captain right now, Manny?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's been the smartest play. As we see a few subs being rolled on. We see Ravan Bush from Grey College making his way onto the field. We see Leleki coming on to the hooker position, and we see Pangiso coming on to the prop position. A few tired forwards at the moment, but I don't blame them. You know, it is hard work in the forward. But I think Graeme College really have to play to their strengths. I don't think their forwards have been as strong. I don't think their forwards can match up to the Windhoek forwards, and I think their backline has to be the key here. Their backline has been really good, orchestrated by their number 9, Cody Schmidt, as well as their number 10, Lukaya Sam. I think they need to look to get the ball into that midfield, square up in 1v1 battles, and that's when they've really looked good, stepping off the right, stepping off the left, looking for little pop passes into different pockets. I don't think they can square up head-to-head against the Windhoek men, but possibly with the fresher legs walking into the park, we may see a different story from the forwards.
Yes, no, definitely. But unfortunately, one of the Graeme College forwards is down, being attended to by the medical team here so far. So it's quite unfortunate to lose that big man, the try scorer in that first half for Graeme College, Thuso Mukele, who unfortunately is being stretchered off right now. But it does give the opportunity for those fringe players to perhaps really step up now and really put in a big scrum in a fairly good area. An opportunity for perhaps Graeme College to really cut the deficits and really keep within touching distance of Windhoek. So it's going to be really, really interesting how they play it out now, definitely, because we're looking at that backline. It's set up quite nicely, but we do, of course, see Windhoek as well. They're ready. They're looking really ready on defense there. So anything could happen. So let's see, perhaps the right choices are made. Perhaps the 8th man pickup.
Yeah, well, it would be an interesting one. I still maintain they can't square up head-to-head against Windhoek in the forwards. So using their backs would be highly suggested from my point of view. But they may have a different point of view as they get it to Lukanya Sam. Sam gets it out to number 13. Those are the 1v1 battles we're talking about as Planga manages to get it underneath the poles. That is where they've been strong, in the middle of the park, swinging it out and contesting 1v1. We see Butlebetu Planga going straight underneath the poles. Fantastic running angles there from Graeme College as they get 10 points within Windhoek Gym.
Yeah, no, it's interesting now. And the deficit could just be cut a little thinner with, of course, the conversion coming up from Lukanya Sam right in front of the pole. So it should be one that is guaranteed. But in rugby and in sports in general, we never know. But it does look like it's been a good one from Lukanya Sam, who has converted that one to really bring Graeme College closer to Windhoek Gym, with the scores now seeing Windhoek lead 27-19.
Yeah, it's been really good here from Lukanya Sam. We did speak a little bit about Cornez Liebenberg. He's been very good, but he's been well supported. I think Lukanya Sam has been a bit of a one-man show. He's been outstanding in the situation, as we see Graeme College inside their 22, looking to kick it out. They can kick it directly out, and they gain about 30 meters. Graeme College need to get back in the game. 8-point game, 14 minutes left in the half. I still think it's anybody's game at this point.
It's still anybody's one for the taking, definitely. But I'd really love to see Graeme College really kicking behind into the corners of Windhoek. I think their straight lies there with the wingers, like we did say in that first half. And, of course, they are the backs as well. So getting them to run up the field a bit could really cause some problems for that Windhoek defense, because you see the fly half, Tunison is always quite, he surges up the field, especially on defense, and there's no one really defending back home. And it is, of course, a long throw in there by Windhoek, which is eventually collected very well by Vien Lopsa, who is eventually tackled, and it is a quick pickup from Windhoek, who really look to play through the phases now. As I pick up from close and look to go around the fringes. The big men do look strong at the moment, with Mtutuzi Piri taking that one up very well. It's quickly played by Lopsa again. Still forward ball there, Van Veek with the collection. And here's Liebenberg who plays it out wide. And it does look like it's a little poke through for Tunison, who fails to unfortunately keep the ball in play. Maybe another interesting move that could have caused a bit of havoc there had they managed to keep that ball in.
Yeah, we see Aiden Lowe there looking to get a little chip in past the defensive line to the try-scoring machine. Mel Tennyson unfortunately doesn't quite get the timing of his kick right. A little bit uncharacteristic of them. We see there from Willem Kutze, impressed by Windhoek Gymnasium. It's good to see the comments flying in. You can interact with us on hashtag SSL Rugby, as we see Graeme College looking to get a better angle, better kicking angle here. But kick they don't. They're going to look to run it out, as we see Lakanya Sam looking to step off his right foot and hopefully gain a bit of ground. Still a bit of running rugby. If it's not running, it's not rugby here from the Eastern Cape side.
And of course, as now Graeme College do look to exit once more, and it is a kick. And it does find touch. A few meters gained. And of course, Graeme College will feel a bit relieved there, even though the throw into the line out will go to Windhoek, with JP Viljoen looking to really rectify that last line out to try get it eventually to a man who can perhaps turn something into a try. And of course, it is a brilliant take there by James Heyman, with the ball eventually played out. And it's an incredible run. Windhoek now have set up, and they choose to play a quick ball to Liebenberg, who really plays it through to Tunison. But Graeme College do well, but eventually they are bundled into touch. And it's a line out set up quite well there for JP Viljoen to really throw in for Windhoek, to try to see maybe perhaps their strong pack really drive right up over that line.
Yeah, and as we see, another interesting connection there between Liebenberg and Tennyson really have been the driving forces of this backline. But I have noticed a little bit, I've noticed something different, which I'll explain after the line out here from JP Viljoen. He'll look to get secure ball in a good position. Looks a little bit wayward. What's happened at the back there? And it's try time. Windhoek Gym managed to get over the whitewash once again. Really soft try. I do think, you know, they've gone for the 6 ball there, and no real defense off the fringes of the lineouts. As we see Jaco Ensslin, he's becoming a bit of a try machine himself. Going over, he's becoming impossible to stop in that 5-meter area. But it's quite interesting, Sfiso. You know, in the first half, as we go through the replay, we see the 6 ball, and I'll tell you, that's some serious basketball skills and a fantastic dive to get on the line. So in the first half, we saw the likes of number 16, Sean van Veek, in the hooker position. We saw number 17, Zander Bronkhorst, and we saw number 21, Jano Duplessis. Now we see numbers 1 to 15 occupying. Have they maybe tried to rest a few players in the first half? They realize the game's a little bit closer than it should be. And have they now maybe thrown on some of their stronger players, as we see Liebenberg missing, you know, one of these, missing the conversion? Do you think they've maybe looked to, you know, get their first 15 on the park here, you know, just judging by the numbers on the current team's back?
I think perhaps they have mixed it up quite well. Of course, the coaches are, because like we spoke on earlier on, that the coaches would be looking at just trying out a few different combinations of maybe those players they perhaps think should be in that starting 15 or perhaps not. So this is the opportunity to really give the boys a good running opportunity against some quality opposition. As we've seen, Graeme College so far have provided that real tough contest up front. So it's been an interesting one so far, but it does look there onto the field that it is a scrum that's been awarded to Windhoek. And it is yet another opportunity to give the boys from all the way in Namibia. I want to make sure I get that right this time. And they're definitely going to try find their way back up right into the faces of Graeme College. And it is a quick ball again played to Turnison. Turnison running around the outside. And Turnison still got the ball, but unfortunately he does eventually fall. And the ball is quickly played to Gauss. Anu Gauss does take it up and is tackled. It does look like Via Lobsa plays it out to Liebenberg. Liebenberg with the quick ball. And it's a brilliant up by JP Viljoen, who eventually plays it out wide. But unfortunately, it is not picked up by Opperman, who doesn't manage to collect. And it eventually flies out into touch. So eventually an opportunity for Graeme College to perhaps try muster something up here and try really get going again, because they haven't really been on it in the second half.
Yeah, as we see the line out there making its way to the back line, Graeme College are going to go with the Eastern Cape style of running rugby, trying to create a little bit of space. Will they look to carry on running, looking for the overlap? Yes, they do. And it's good defense here from Windhoek. Now they've got themselves into a spot of bother. It's going to be interesting to see what they choose to do here from the base of the ruck. And run they will. Fantastic rugby here. Really like to see it from Lakanya Sam, who's on the ground there.
Lakanya Sam there, of course, with that little bit of a shimmy there. But unfortunately is tackled. And it is Windhoek who get a penalty awarded to them for the ball being held on there by Graeme College. So it's another opportunity perhaps for Windhoek to really go for the line or tap it up and bash it up with some of their big boys who we've seen have got the quality and the strength to really trouble that Graeme College defense. And it is the option of taking it up with their slightly bigger boys, and it is Duduzi Piri who takes it up and is tackled just short. And the ball's quickly played again in short to Van Wyk, who is also tackled short. And this time Gauss does take it up himself, and he manages to cross over, and it's a brilliant try. Another one there for the men from Windhoek. It's now becoming a one-way traffic there, Manny. It's really tough for the boys from Eastern Cape really to keep Windhoek Gym at bay. Do you see any way back for the boys from the Eastern Cape now?
Unfortunately not, as we see Vian Lopser there in the screen, the try scorer managing to get what you could call, a little bit of a soft try. You could call it quite a well constructed try from the team. Unfortunately, and I'm looking at the substitutions that Windhoek have made here. It looks like they have put their first 15 on the park, and unfortunately their first 15 seems to be a little bit too much here at the moment for Graeme College. Like you were saying earlier on, I think the legs really getting to Graeme College, possibly a mixture of the altitude and possibly a mixture of a lack of preseason. Different teams have different preseason structures. Some teams have 5 weeks, some teams have 4 weeks. As we see Sammy Paulson, unfortunately, with his first kick of the day, skewing it slightly wide. But let's just have a look here. We look around the fringes and really that's not the greatest defending. That's not the tightest defense I've seen. And when teams get a little bit more tired, we see their structure just going down a little bit, as we see a nice high kick from the number 22, Kepe. They unfortunately do not retain possession, and Windhoek will look to run hard as Paulson offloads it, but a little knock on there from Windhoek Gymnasium.
And it is a scrum now to Graeme College to perhaps try really find something, and maybe really just a little consolation now, just to add to the points tally that they really have, and perhaps make it look a bit more respectable. Because if we did look at that first half, it was a much tighter contested game, because the score was 15-12 going into the break. So this second half has really been telling for the men from the Eastern Cape.
Yeah, it really has been hard, and it's 3 days of rugby, so they can't put their heads down now. Graeme College, they have to keep going. They've got ball. Their number 9, Cullen Williams, looks to get it out wide. There's a little kick in there. Who manages to get it? It will be Graeme College ball, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but no, there's 3 days. There's 3 days of rugby here, and Graeme College have to keep going, keep going, keep going. You know, festivals like these are a fantastic learning curve. Even if you poll boys, even if you poll Rus, you know, it's a fantastic learning curve. You play a high quality rugby in trying conditions in front of a fantastic crowd against guys that you may have never seen before. So they can only get better from this point, can Graeme College. I've enjoyed what I've seen at the moment. You know, they can compete with the best. Windhoek cannot be taken lightly, as we see put in there from the number 9, Cullen Williams. Williams will look to get it out wide, as we hear a horn of sorts, which does not affect our game. Was possibly the last bit of play. A little bit of an overlap on the left-hand side. Can Graeme College get a little bit of... Oh, as we see a nasty tackle there. High challenge called by the ref. Graeme College still looking to get over the white line. They look like they've got energy. They look like they've still got a lot of go forward here. They're about a meter out, as we see Williams gets it out to number 20, Nogayo. Still ball for Graeme College. Can Graeme College get a consolation try right at the end? Number 12, Shele. Shele goes to ground. We see Cullen Williams getting in there. He's really playing some fast-paced rugby as they get onto the 5-meter line of Windhoek Gymnasium. Tight little bash up on the fringes, but tight defense from Windhoek. Windhoek on defense have looked very good. Graeme College gaining some ground. Williams a meter out as Williams looks to swing it out. Sam gets it out wide to number 14, Bangisa.
And it does look there that it is a scrum awarded to the men from the Eastern Cape, Graeme College, as they still look to really finish this game off really strong with perhaps another 7-pointer. That would, of course, make the score look really, really respectable, considering that really great first half that us as the spectators really got to witness here so far at the St. John's Easter Rugby Festival. So it's going to be interesting. Puts in there. It's another big scrum there. It's a puts in for Graeme College, but the scrum does collapse. And the ref here will look to perhaps set up a reset up for that scrum, perhaps move to better ground, as the ground here on Burgerfield is rather soft, nice lush and green on a very beautiful day in Johannesburg. And of course it is the scrum that puts in for a Graeme College. And it's a quick pickup, and it's played. Bangisa, it's played out to Sam, who plays it out wide with a very long pass. It's a great little throw, and Graeme College do look to be moving forward, as Windhoek do also look to defend quite well and finish the game without conceding in the later stages of the game. But it is Bangisa who does collect well, a little step and stretches over and touches down. It's a brilliant try in the corner there. A great finish to a great game of rugby. Great adverts at the St. John's College Easter Rugby Festival, rather.
Yeah, well, yeah, some good rugby here playing from left to right. We see them from the middle of the park as we see Younger Bangisa darting down for a try there. We see them moving out to the left, deciding that there's nothing for them on the left-hand side. As we see here, good ball out from Cullen Williams. Williams to that man Sam. He's had a fantastic game. We see Makalima with a good pass out to his right-hand pass. It's not to his right-hand side, not an easy. We see off the left, off the right, and he beats two defenders. Fantastic work there from Bangisa. A little second movement which he's allowed to do gets him the try. It's a good fight back here as we see the score ending in Windhoek's favour, 37-24. A really good fight here from Graeme College, isn't it, Fiso?
Yes, it was really a great finish from them. They'll really take a lot of positives from the way they finished that game. They finished off rather strong, even though the scoreboard might not read so, with Windhoek obviously being that superior side, especially in that second half. Perhaps the legs did eventually tell for the men from the Eastern Cape. They really seemed to struggle, and the legs got a bit heavier here on a very thick turf. beautiful conditions here, so they wouldn't have had an excuse of playing on a really terrible surface, because the surface that we have right here is an incredible one.
Indeed. Well, a fantastic game of rugby here between Windhoek Gymnasium and Graeme College, with the score ending 37-24. My name's Manny Sakhali, with me in the commentary box,
Sfiso Nyao.
And it's been an absolutely fantastic day. Get yourself down to St. John's Rugby Festival for some enterprising schoolboy rugby.